I guess the week of Thanksgiving, it's good to be thankful for something. And I know that locker room is pretty thankful for Bobby Pettiford in that shot right now. As special of a win as I've been a part of in terms of high-level basketball game. And I'm going to say this about Coach Petway and Kennesaw State and their players. Incredible respect for them. I mean, I know Coach Petway for a long time, back from his time at Alabama and myself being at Tennessee. And just got great respect for him and his program. And we were fortunate enough tonight because we had the ball last. Both teams, incredible grit back and forth all game. You know, we would take the lead, they would take it back. They would go up in a couple possessions, we would get it back. We could never really muster more than a 1 or 2 point lead, and they got it going. Ton of respect for their guards, Burden and Cottle, NCAA tournament guards that have done it at the biggest stage, and we saw it in here. They shot the ball better than they had shot it on the season from behind the arc, but that's what good teams do. They stayed a course, and Kennesaw State did. So that's a great win for our program and our team, because that's a really good Kennesaw State team, a very well-coached team, and I have the utmost respect for them.
Coach, just talk about the resiliency of your team. You dropped 2 straight at home, then respond with a big win last night, and then respond with a bigger win tonight versus the Kennesaw State team, who was 2-0. So just talk about the fight they have and just the way this game ended tonight.
Well, we kept talking about that during the game. Like, again, back to Kennesaw State, that team's picked to win their conference. They have returning players from an NCAA tournament team. So we kept talking about throughout the game, we had to make adjustments because we really wanted to protect the paint early. Robinson, their center, has 3 for 19 on the year from 3. He made 3 in the first half. So you got to make an adjustment there. It changes everything. He's shooting the ball well. It's their 3rd game in 3 days in our gym. They got going. They started feeling it. So we had to make an adjustment. We did a decent job, and then in the late end of the first half, Burden gets going downhill. So we had to figure out an adjustment there in the second half. When we kind of figured that out, Cottle got going. Cottle scores 8 straight points. It was a game on both sides of adjustments. They were in foul trouble. We were in foul trouble. Unfortunately, we didn't get our bench play quite where we could play 9-10 guys tonight, and versus a team that's #1 in the country pace of play, tempo. I mean, that's literally what they are. They're the #1 team tempo-wise and the #1 transition offense team. You'd like to be able to play a few more guys, but all the credit to Caleb, Jaden, Brandon, Ezra, obviously Bobby, just the way they gritted it out, RJ. It was that kind of game. It was going to be gritty over pretty, and we said that during the game. It had to be gritty, and we were fortunate to have the ball last, and Bobby makes a very special shot that will, I think, go down in ECU history.
Is that a play Bobby has worked on? You seem pretty natural.
Yeah, I drew it up just like that out of the timeout, No, but that's, what that is? That's Bobby. And it's Ezra. Here's why I say that. We called the timeout. We were able to use our timeouts to control the game at the end of the game, which was good, whether it was scoring out of a timeout or defense out of a timeout. You give Kennesaw State a ton of credit. They got it. We forced the shot we wanted. A mid-range shot over high hands. You didn't want to give a pull and kick shot. You didn't want to give a rim shot. The one shot they don't want to take quite as much is that mid-level shot with the guard over a big. He made a heck of a shot. Here's where the poise and the maturity of Ezra stepped in. Instead of panicking, he took the ball out calmly. He got the ball. Bobby got to his spot. He delivered a good pass to Bob. Bob looked up, saw the clock. Look, you can't draw up, and you can practice that all you want, but at least in the moment they stayed calm, and that does go to the resiliency part, that you have to play until the clock is 0. And we know we're fortunate. That's a heck of a shot. But Ezra's poise, Bobby's poise, it's very easy to get discouraged when a team scores with 2.5 seconds left, when you coming out of a timeout knew, hey, here's what we got to do to get a stop. Kid made a great shot. I mean, you give him credit. But Bobby answered, and Ezra answered by delivering that pass, taking it out of bounds. A lot of Brandon, too. I think about Brandon, he got banged up, and he just fought through. Obviously, we know he was coming off not playing, and called RJ's number a few times down the stretch. He delivered both times, getting to the foul line, getting offensive rebound, scoring. So it was a back and forth. I thought that was a very high-level basketball game.
What can a win in this fashion do for you guys? You talked about earlier, and I don't know if you call it luck or some combination of that, but also, just winning at the end versus, the few games you guys lost at the end.
It's obviously, again, can you imagine the difference of the emotions if you lose versus you win? And that locker room is what guys come to college for, to have that feeling and that excitement. And so I do think it can propel you momentum-wise to understand you can learn, play till the end. That's something you play until the end. And as much as you preach it, the guys were saying that in the locker room when we got in there. Hey, that's why we play until the end. That's why you got to keep playing. You can't ever put your head down. That Kennesaw State team, man, they got us down 7 points with under 10 to go. And you just got to keep going. And the guys kept talking about it in the timeout. And we actually referred to our game versus Cincinnati last year. Hey, you can't play the score. You just got to play the right way as this clock goes down. Just keep playing the right way. And so I think it can give you momentum. You got to build on it. But we know whether we won or lost this game, there's stuff you got to fix and there's stuff you got to get better at. And there's stuff you did well that you got to keep improving. So we're going to do that regardless. We'll look at the tape. We'll have fun watching that last shot. But we will fix the things where we have to be better going into this Thanksgiving break in George Mason.
Coach, how big is it to have an MTE at home, and you get 2 out of 3? It's got to help you down the road, right?
Yeah, I'm disappointed we didn't get 3, but again, I have a lot of respect for Northeastern. That's a really good team, and you have 3 teams end up going 2-1 here, and us, Kennesaw, and Northeastern. And think about it. Didn't Kennesaw win on a buzzer beater yesterday? So, basketball in Greenville, it's great. A holiday tournament here. I think the fans that were here had a great time. I just talked to the Mindy's Maniacs and the students, they had a great time. This can be an electric place, and it was tonight for the people that were in the building. So I think a holiday classic and a tournament like that just brings a nice spotlight and good energy for basketball into Greenville.
When a team shoots like that from 3, especially in that first half, is it just really important for you guys, like you said earlier, just kind of play your game, just kind of keep it chugging along?
Yeah, it's a good point because now we did make adjustments, and that's why in the second half you saw them in the paint a little bit more. The first half we were really trying to keep them out of the paint. This is a team that when you look at the analytics, they really thrive on driving the basketball. But they had guys throw in shots, make shots that are good shooters that hadn't been making them. So now you adjust. And now you have to play a little bit, and now the court opens up, and now guys like Cottle and Burden are getting downhill. They got downhill more in the second half. So we had to do something. We had to get the ball out of Burden's hands. You have to get the ball out of Cottle. It was a lot of adjustments going back. Hey, I'm sure he wanted to have Robinson in the game. Robinson had picked up 3 fouls, so he went small. Coach Petway went small. It was back and forth adjustments, and in a tournament setting, you just have to make every adjustment you need to make minute by minute, 4-minute by 4-minute game. And again, they made good ones. We liked the ones we made, and we were fortunate to have the ball with 2.5, and Bob made a special shot.
What's the message going in to the toughest part of your non-conference? You got your first road game coming up next, and then 2 tough opponents after that. So what's the message, and what can you take from the atmosphere today and just the resiliency of this team going forward?
Well, I think you want to build on the resiliency and hopefully make that something that's really a core, a really core. Like I looked at the defensive numbers. It felt like, oh my goodness, but there was at times during the game, our defensive numbers, we were accomplishing some of our things outside of the guarding that 3-point line. And you give the other team, when they make shots on the defense's terms, you have to just, smack them on the back and say, good shot, and you do your best, and you got to go get it back the next time. And they made some of those shots tonight. I think the message is we know what we're about to get into, and we got to look on both sides of the ball and just keep getting better every day. Win or lose, we have to find a way to just get better every day. And I would have said that if we lost this game, or what the final result ended up being, we have to get better. It starts tomorrow, Thanksgiving, Friday, George Mason, Sunday, get better. And I said this, November 21st today, we'll be a different team December 21st. And we'll be a different team January 21st. That's what this is. We still are a team. Bob Pettiford hasn't been in this role yet in his career. He's got Kansas, and he's won, and he's done great things. Bob's here for a special role, and tonight was a nice, kind of ignition of it.
All right, thanks,
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.